right, here we are, another episode of the Elevation Construction Project Debrief. We're going to debrief a project today that we just finished last week, I believe. And this was it was insurance, right? Or no?
Yes, it was insurance. Yeah, it was
It was
the
insurance.
insurance job in the Woodlands Township.
And it basically what happened, a tree fell on the house during one of the hurricanes or storms that we had not too long ago, and we had to put it back together. So, but yeah, so tell us a little bit about the background and the scope of work, and then we'll go into the details.
Okay. Yeah, so background, as you mentioned, was that it was insurance. So the client pretty much tree fell on the garage, cars were pinned in the garage.
Mm,
It had a home run, so the electrical panel was in the garage, so it kind of made it even more dangerous situation right there.
right.
And then obviously they weren't able to get out their cars. They gave us a call, asked if we did that type of work and stuff. Of course, we do. We do have experience with working with the insurance as well. So we were able to give them some tips on what needed to be done. In this case, the client did deal with the insurance them directly, and they did deal with also the Woodlands Township for permitting. We were able to get
Mm,
them. They needed plans to be able to submit to the Woodlands Township to be able to get the permit approval. So we would help them along the way. But the client did want to do that himself, which actually worked out well. Most of the time,
mhm.
we like to take it upon ourselves to be able to do that just because this is something we do all the time. But
Right.
he had a concept of what needed to be done and knew kind of the procedure. So he was able to get all that done. So we submitted our estimate. He got it approved, and then pretty much permitting took a while. Woodlands
Mhm.
Township is a little bit more difficult than others to deal with. So they asked for a couple different things. We provided it. They needed architectural plans and structural plans. So, and they also needed a survey that showed pretty much how the construction entrance and exit and where the dumpster that was going to be at and all of that stuff on there. So we provided that to the client. Then he submitted in and got that done. So it took a little bit, and then we were able to start the. Obviously, we had to demo what was there. It wasn't structurally
Mhm.
sound, so it wasn't like a repair option,
Right.
for that, especially with the size of tree that had fallen on it. And so that's a little bit of the background and kind of what we did there.
Yeah, to your point, I mean, typically we like to handle the whole permitting process and all the paperwork, but this client kind of was on top of things and he was pretty quick, so it was a pleasure to work with him on that, but typically that's not the case, right? So it's a lot easier if we handle it because we know how to handle all that stuff, but he did a pretty good job and it was great working with him on that. So yeah, here are the drawings that we had to get done. I guess nothing really, anything specific that we need to talk about that other than these is what needed to be submitted for the permits.
Yeah. So the little bit of complication to this one, so it kind of I think it's really good to explain it on this slide too, is you see how they have so the garage is a detached garage. And they
Yep.
have that archway that connects to the house.
Hmm.
That's where the wires, so the all of the main runs that go into the house run in from the
Okay,
electrical
gotcha.
box to the
Yep.
house. So this situation, in order for us to be able to rebuild the garage, we had to put some kind of a temporary electrical panel in another location, right? That wasn't there inside of the garage for us to be so that way, one, the client could maintain majority of electrical loose inside of their house, and
Hmm.
then two is we needed all of those wires to be out of our way to be able to work properly in there. So as
That's
you
right.
could see, that's kind of how we had to approach it, and that's what was done with the electrical. That was kind of like a special case on this one.
Right.
We did have to put the township did have a couple of different requirements than normally, like even city of Houston would had. So we did have a little bit of difficulty with that. Our electrician was able to get it all figured out and talk and communicate with that
Hmm.
location. It's not Centerpoint. It's Entergy is the electrical provider for that area. So we work with them.
Yeah, and our electrician, there was at least one night where he spent pretty much the whole night trying to get things going for the client. So
Yeah.
yeah, he did a good job. He did a good job. Renee did a good job. All right, so here's the damage, as you can see. The tree. I mean, I don't think we have a photo of the tree, but it seemed to be like it was a pretty large tree based on the damage that we see here.
Yeah, it was cut off. It was all cut up and hauled off before we got there. I think the
Got it.
stump was there still,
Yeah.
but we may not have a good picture of the stump and all that. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
they're pretty sizable trees, and that there's another one that's pretty much identical to the one that fell that's right next to it. So like in this
Mm.
framing photo, you might be able to actually see it right there. If you go like
Here's
one, two over, that's the temporary electrical box. Yeah. So it was like in that right hand corner of the garage back there. But you see how tall those trees are, you
yeah, they're
know?
big.
Yeah, they're huge.
Yeah. All right. So here is the electrical. This was the temporary one on the pole, right?
That's correct.
And so that was before anything had to be done. We had to get that going because you need electrical for the house, you need electrical for the project. And so Renee got that going for us. Like Pablo said, we had to demo everything. So you could see here it's just a blank foundation. And our framing crew jumped on it really quick. I mean, they got that thing erected pretty fast. This was
Yeah,
day one, right?
that was day one. Yeah.
Yeah. So they were really on it really fast. And so that's second folder. Here's the third one. This is the third day, right? So they're getting the roof all framed in. Stay. They started doing the roof and the siding. So the project really did not last as long as the permitting process.
Yeah, that's for sure. The
The
client was
permitting
was
process.
super happy with our work and the time frame that we were able to complete the project. Yeah, I mean the majority of the wait and I guess anticipation was with the permitting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Certainly was not unhappy with us. Here's what it looked like on the inside. Yeah. These guys knocked
So
that
two
out
note
really
in here,
quick.
so you know, is the roof. If you notice, it's got that radiant barrier on the decking, so that's to help with climate control on the. It's an additional insulation barrier for the roof, and then also on the exterior walls. If you notice, previously the siding was just attached to like first strips. There was no
Oh,
plywood. It was just framing, first strips, and then the siding was connected to that. So
wow.
we called around and we had talked to the architect as well, and she recommended that even if it didn't have the plywood like sheathing underneath the
Yep.
siding before, to go ahead and go back with it. So we went ahead and we made sure that we put
That's excellent.
that's how it should be done.
Yeah.
I'm not sure when the house was built and what the codes were at that time,
Mm-hmm.
but now, I mean, plus it makes it a lot easier to hang your siding when you have all of that to nail to, and you're not looking for
Sure.
certain like fur strips.
Yeah. And they also put house wrap on it too, right?
That's correct.
Yeah. So in this photo, obviously it's a photo of all the demo, but on the left side here is the new garage. As you can see, the difference in the roof, because on the right side is the old roof for the house. But yeah, so that was day 4, I believe. Oh, no, there's still photos from a distance. That's the house, a view from the side. And that's the overhang right there. That's where you said the electrical was going through from the
That's
garage into
correct.
the
Yeah.
house.
So they had to pull everything out of there. They connected it to that temporary pole, and then once obviously we were done right there, as you can
Mm,
see, the electrical crew working right there in
yeah.
the back, and they're connecting and they're wiring back up to the electrical panel that was on the inside of the garage.
Yeah, there they are right there. And there's a generator there, but they did that on their own, right? They had their own generator company take care of
That's
that
correct.
piece.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we just turned the gas valve off just so we didn't do any
Mhm.
disconnections on the gas. We did disconnect the electrical from there, but the client had talked to the generator installer, and the installer was going to come back and do his install,
Okay.
just so that way warranty and all that stays intact.
Yeah, that makes sense. And just, if there's another scenario where there's no warranty or they wanted us to hook it up, our crew is equipped and prepared to do all that stuff too. In fact, they installed my generator at my house. All right, so here is the finished product, sort of. I know we did a change order afterwards. I think we're still working on it, right? Putting on the drywall on the inside there.
Yeah, I think he needs a couple weeks, and then they're gonna move forward with it. He wants to put those brackets up. I sent him some pictures
Oh,
of
okay.
some pretty cool brackets for the walls, and then over like the ceiling brackets. You probably have some people in your neighborhood that has it. And I've seen
Oh,
them in
yeah.
mine too, where it's like you can
Yep.
slide the totes into it. They
Yep.
hang from the
Hmm.
ceiling. So
Yep.
I showed him some options on there, so that way he could store some stuff and not have so much stuff on the ground. One of the change orders that they did do was the epoxy on the inside of the garage floor, which in one of these pictures, I think you can see it a little bit
You
right
can see it
there.
right here. Yeah.
Yeah, it had the flakes. It's just a gray, standard
Hmm.
epoxy, but
Yeah.
definitely helps protect the concrete itself if there's ever an oil leak or against, moisture
Right.
and stuff like that. So, and especially since it was clear, cleared out, and it was brand new everything, that was the best time to be able to put an epoxy floor down.
Yep. Agreed. Man, that looks great. That's the entry door.
Painted new doors. We put the recessed lights in. We put 2 new shop lights on the inside. We told the client, because we were going to have to take off the sconces, right? The wall, like
Mm-hmm.
the front of the garage door, the light that's to the right and to the left. We were going to
Yep.
have to take those and put new ones in anyway. So he purchased some new ones, and we just installed the new ones for him.
Cool. Excellent. There's the flooring right there. It looks like it's still drying in this photo. And then
Yeah, that
the
was
front
fresh.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's see. That's folder 6.
No, I took picture of the driveway just so that way, we could see. I went through myself, and I know Elisa's crew went through, and we picked up
Mm-hmm.
nails and, little plywood shrapnel that was there and all that, just to kind of do that
Yeah.
last little finish touch. Because the last thing that we want is the client telling us that they have a flat tire
I
the week
know.
after we complete the job. So
Yeah.
just that little thing at the end, that's something that I like when our crews do that, and we do that, just to make sure that they're giving us a call because they want more stuff, not because something happened,
Yeah.
right?
Exactly. Yeah. No, that is absolutely true. And this client actually, I think there's a neighbor you were saying that has the same issue with his garage. So he was going to go plug our name in there. And that's what we like. I mean, we like to earn the business based on what we've done and how well we've done. So yeah, I was happy with this project, man. It went by really quick after the permitting process was done. No complaints. It looked great. The crew worked really well together. I just feel like we hit a home run on this one. This was a really good one.
Definitely. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
she was there. So the situation that you were talking about, where they have a neighbor that's a street or two behind them,
Mm,
and the garage was demoed, but they still haven't gotten the garage built back yet. So I don't know if it's a permitting thing or if it's the crew, but we went ahead, we went over and dropped some cards off, you know what I mean?
nice.
And they were going to go ahead and head over there and let
Cool.
them know that we did the work on theirs,
Yeah.
and see if they were interested in us giving them a quote for theirs.
Man, that's fantastic. Yeah, so I know you got some good drone video for this one. So what I'm going to do is my son's going to throw in some of that drone footage after this video in the same video here, just so people can see what it looks like from the sky and whatnot. So, but yeah, man, this was a great project. You guys did a great job. And any other thing to add to this one?
Oh, besides super happy clients and,
Mm-hmm.
and the, 5-star review type job, and
Yeah.
I mean, this one was everything that we could, communication was there. We did
Yeah.
what we said we were going to do. It went by faster than expected. We were
Yeah.
in budget. So, I mean, you couldn't
Yeah.
ask for an easier project for either end. It's easier
Exactly.
for us and it's easier for the client as well.
Yeah. So if you have a scenario like this or a neighbor where whether it be a storm or not, and it's insurance or it's not, we can do either way. And we've done both. We got a lead today. I guess a tree fell in a house and the house needs to be demoed. And so it's going to be a similar situation, maybe a little bit more complex because the person was living there and now they got to move out and we have to go through that whole process. But at the end of the day, it's not new to us. It's not foreign to us. We know how to do it. We do a very good job at it. And we like doing these projects. These are a lot of fun. Well, sweet, man. Thanks for the great project, and we'll see you at the next one, I guess.
Yep.